Good morning and welcome to the South Australian Country Swimming Championships in Port Pirie, South Australia. It's about 6:30 a.m. here at the moment, and just while it's quiet I thought I'd just show you around and what's happening. By the way, it's about 20 degrees here at the moment, and we're forecasting highs of about 38 something later on this afternoon. So we'll see how everybody goes. And it's a wonderful, I call it a 7-lane, but actually it's now a 6.5-lane pool because they put a access ramp in one of the lanes. So they're racing in 6 lanes of this pool. And let's have a look around and see what we've got set up. The gates will open at any moment, so people are queuing up outside. And then round the pool, all the clubs have got their shelters set up. And it actually creates a really lovely atmosphere when the racing's going on, because everybody's crowded round shouting after their swimmers. So this here is the finish end for the 50-metre events, and you notice here we've got a Olly Timing camera in the sky to calculate all the times for the 50-metre finishes. And the blocks here are actually hardly used. These are only used for relay changeovers because the depth of this water is only 1.2, so I just want to make sure there's no issues. This is a 50-metre pool, and if we go down to the other end, which is where all the starts happen, and the 100-metre and other end finishes, and you'll see there those 7 blocks. There's actually only 6 lanes in use because we've got this entry ramp. And the other thing which you can probably just about see there is there's a cabin. That's where the computers are, and there's some air conditioning just to keep it cool when the temperature gets a bit silly later on. And if you also look in the sky there, that's an Olly Timing camera to do the finishes at that end. So let's have a quick look now at how those Olly cameras are set up. Down here at the finish end and start end for most of the events, you'll see the Olly Timing camera is actually, believe it or not, weighed down by a camping chair with a large collapsible water bottle, a water container, just to provide sufficient mass. And then you've got 2 6-metre carbon fibre poles up to the camera on the top. And during the high winds we get in the afternoon, I think they peak at about 33 knots. This sways around like a bit of a tree, but it doesn't actually affect the quality of the timing, because that's what it's designed to do, to flex a bit like a tree or for aircraft wings. Anyway, let's move now into the control room and see what's happening in there. So welcome to the back door of this cabin, which I will now just come in. This was installed specially for this event. Actually, there's another door there which goes out to the pool deck with a window out, so that we kind of see what's happening outside. But thankfully, with the video cameras, we can actually tell what's happening. Just so you understand the layout here, let's start at this side. We've got a meet manager terminal, printers, another meet manager terminal, another meet manager terminal. And then Ollie sits on this desk here, where Peter's just about to get set up, so there's not much showing on the screens at the moment. And then another terminal here. Right, let's pause there and we'll show you when something more exciting is happening later.
Take your mark.
Swinging lane 1 from West Coast, Bradley Wright. In lane 2 from Mount Gambier, Darcy Burford.
So the meet's just underway now with a 400-metre freestyle, which means we're all fairly relaxed because results coming in not that fast. So at this end, Peter's operating Ollie. We've got a primary terminal that he's operating, and we've also got a secondary terminal if required. And actually Archie here is operating remotely. Can't see him at the moment. He's got his video turned off. Now he's going to come and say hello. There he is. Morning, Archie. Okay. And it's great having Archie operating remotely, because it means that we can share the workload. You're probably familiar with the screen. And then we've got, like we said earlier, meet manager accepting the results, breakfast being eaten. In fact, let's have a quick check-in on the breakfast, shall we? Yeah, there we go.
Underway in event 74, this is the girls 11 to 13 years, 100 metres breaststroke. Each one is in the water, and lane 2 from West Coast, Georgia Craig. And lane 3 from Berry Carr.
What are you doing? And often the little window is actually less accurate than the big picture down the bottom. So it's a combination of flicking between the two and looking back and forth a little bit to see what is that impact or compression.
You've disabled lane 6 already.
I've just managed to grab the chair of SwimmingSA, Selma Barlow, who's, it's probably the wrong time to talk because we've just been on pool deck and doing all sorts for the last few days. You're the chair, you're a technical official, you do a lot of things around here. This is your first experience of using Olly Timing. Your organisation signed Strategic Partnership for Innovation. What's your opinion so far?
It's been a really great experience, Ben. Olly Timing's, I think it's going to be a real game changer for us in terms of taking the pressure off pool deck for TOs, relieving the pressure for those country clubs, especially with things like Olly Go, and just having that confidence in the timing system. We do experience some issues in country meets, so having a kind of system like Olly Timing is going to be really invaluable for us.
Now, you've been on pool deck talking to people. What sort of feedback are you getting from your members?
They are really positive. Our members love the idea of Olly Timing. They love the fact that we're looking at innovation and looking at taking SwimmingSA on a broader journey. And it's actually relieved the pressure for them to find technical officials to be on pool deck. So we're finding that the people now that are coming onto pool deck are the people that want to be on pool deck. I'd also say that it gives our younger technical officials the opportunity to try new technology. It might be a pathway into officiating in a different way. So they're looking at different ways of technology, media, etc. And they're fascinated by it. We've had lots of questions about how does it perform in the wind, how does it perform outdoors, how does it perform in country, and I think these are great conversations. But I think, well, I believe during the 2026 country championships we've certainly seen some really great results and a good example of how it's going to work in the future.
So you've had various roles at this event so far. You're referee tomorrow in all the hot. You've been control room supervisor. You're operating Olly today. In terms of Olly Timing, can you tell me a bit about how you found it and how it's impacting the meet from your perspective?
Yeah, sure. It's been a great program. It's quite easy to use. As a control room supervisor, to see the speed at which new operators could operate it and get an accurate time and get that through to meet manager has been quite impressive. Actually operating it with Olly Timing, I had a few issues in trying to work out the judgment of the time, but I think that will come with practice, and having done it for a couple of hours, actually probably only half an hour this morning, I actually got to play it. There were so many people that wanted to have a go. I felt more confident at the end of that than I certainly did at the beginning of the day. So it's been a good experience, and we set the meet up to initially run with Dolphin Timing we decided to use it as a backup system, and we haven't needed to use it. We haven't used it, and we've actually removed all of our timekeepers and just kept one inspector of turns at the end of each lane. So really good opportunity to have a look at requiring less volunteers on pool deck.
So joining me now is Wade Zamitmini, the events manager for SwimmingSA. Wade, thanks for finding a few minutes in this massive competition to talk to us. Now, you've been a major driver to try and introduce new ways of working and new technology into your competitions. Can you give us a bit of a feel for why that's so important to you and your members?
Yeah, it's a big part of our strategy that we are making the experience better for everyone, and that's not just for our swimmers, it's for our officials, the parents on the sidelines, everyone who kind of comes into our events and into our sport. And we know that a big burden at the moment is the number of officials it takes to run a swim meet, and we know that to keep running swim meets into the future, it's important for us to make sure that we're using our people in the right ways, and we think Olly is a great system for us to hopefully use our people in a better way by having less people at the end of the ball, and hopefully put them into better positions, better officiating positions, are more important to running of the pond. But also to bring parents back to the sidelines. Our swimmers, our young swimmers have the experience with their clubs, and it's not great when we've got all the sidelines empty because all of our parents are on pool deck helping. So we're very grateful this year we've been able to send some parents back to the sidelines, which is awesome.
Very good. Now, you run the event, so you're looking for a low risk, good experience, and obviously introducing something whiz-bang like Olly must feel a bit risky for you.
Yeah.
Have you sort of gone through the evaluation process of considering whether this is as good, whether it does what it says on the tin, and whether it is actually ready for prime time here in Port Pirie?
Yeah, well, it's funny because we actually didn't know. We just took a bit of a stab and we thought, this is a great piece of technology, let's take it to the people. We've definitely got some big ambitions for this technology in South Australia. But as I said, it's a great way of making the experience better for literally everyone that's involved in these competitions. So we thought the only way to get started is to start, and to be quite honest, so we thought we'll pilot this technology and actually try and build the trust of our community that this technology exists and it works. And I think we've been doing that quite well so far. So having people rotate through the control room that might be coaches, parents, team managers alike, and technical officials. Some are skeptics, some are curious, and it's actually been fantastic being in there and seeing their curiosity on the system, and actually being really surprised that something like this exists and it does work. For them, seeing is believing. That's the same for me when I first saw the system. And the fact that we're actually using it as our primary method here on the ground, what started off to be a pilot is actually our primary timing system by the end of the first session, speaks volumes to the trust that our community have put into Olly just in this kind of alone. So it's been a really interesting few days, the conversations that we've had in our community around what this looks like for us moving forward, and particularly how we innovate in this sport. It's been a long time since we've done something so significant. Dolphin timing systems have been around for decades, and probably the same timing systems in our state have been around for decades, and it's probably time for us to look at whether we renew them or whether we what we do. So it's been a really, really exciting few days.
What have your members been saying? What have your stakeholders been saying? What's the mood out there?
Yeah, first thing is a bit of disbelief. When they see these overhead cameras that look like security security cameras, they think, so you meaning to tell me that this takes the role of timekeepers, and how do I know it's accurate? How is it getting the same time? And we're kind of responding by saying, well, come in the control room and we'll show you. So that's been really cool, to actually give them some surprise and delight in a way. That we don't need to always have all these timekeepers pressing stopwatch buttons, and I think we've got a bit of a way to go to bring this into the state, especially at this level of competition. But the future's looking pretty exciting. I think it's been really cool to see the community energised about something that, to me, I thought might be a bit mundane to the community. I nerd out about all of this stuff.